Well, hello again. Welcome back once more to Kerbal Space Program. This time, episode 21. This follows on directly from episode 20. It was all shot in the same sequence. This time, we're going to Minmus with a new ship. I mean, let's face it, what could possibly go wrong with that? Yeah, let's go and see what happened. Satellite in an equatorial orbit of Minmus. Potentially useful, but I'm not going to at the moment. We want one there for space. I'm going to grab it, but I'm not going to do it yet. We want one because we want one for science around Minmus missions. So I'm going to grab that. I'm not going to bother with the others. The next ones is flag on Minmus and explore Minmus. So before we do that, I need to come in here because I want to potentially have a little look. See, we can unlock a few other little bits and pieces here. See, I could afford to unlock some of this high-powered stuff. Now, that's potentially interesting because that gives you the magnetometer, which is another experiment, and the seismometer, which is another experiment. Cometron ground, which is the transmission station for those little ground activity things, which might be useful. Not going to do that just yet. What I want is that one, and we'll buy the bits because I've got the funding to do it. That gives me a bigger pod, which I'm going to be using shortly. Advanced exploration. See, I can afford another one. When we come back, I'll be able to afford another one or two. But I don't think I actually need any of these specifically for this mission. So what I'm going to do is grab that one, which is another science experiment and some other bits and pieces. And now what we're going to do is go and design a revised lander. So what are we going to use to start with this one? Well, I'm going to start with this. And the reason I'm going to start with this is this thing can take 3 kerbals. I don't believe I have the big docking port yet, so I'm not going to put a docking port on this thing. Normally I would. At the moment I'm not going to. What I'm going to do, however, is the obligatory parachute setup, which is 2 of those and 1 of those. This thing has electrical charge, which is good. It has monopropellant that it's not getting. Doesn't need that. Oh, actually, no, this one... no, I'm going to keep the monopropellant on. This one does actually have reaction control jets on board. Oh, I see. I've just jabbed things the other way around. Just looking why that was different. So that's that. There is a big parachute that's sort of designed to sit on the top of it, which I'm not going to add. And the reason I'm not going to add is because, like I say, eventually I want to put a docking port on the nose of that. So what I'm actually going to do is go into aero. Put a spike on the top. I'm just going to do that to start with. That can come off later. Right, we now need a heat shield. 2.5 meter one? Yeah, it's one of those, which again doesn't need anything like as much of that. That'll do, and I'll drop that back down. That doesn't matter because I'm basically not going to do it. Right, that's the capsule. We now need a landing stage and an ascent stage. And I'm going to use one of the... which one I've got? TD25. I'm going to use that for that bit. And I now need the get me home bit. Now that potentially let's see what that looks like in terms of performance. So show all and show me the performance of it in a vacuum. So 2,000 odd meters per second. Thrust to weight is easily enough. That is lift off from Mun, lift off from Minmus. I think, but there's a way of checking that, because I can come into here and say, if I'm on the Mun, yeah, thrust to weight 4, that'll lift off quite easily. Minmus, oh my god, we can lift off. So yeah, you can play with that thing just to get rid of some of those. You can play with that to see what you can do. So that is the stage to get me home again. There is an option to basically come back with a lot more than that. I'm not going to. Now see, the other thing is I can actually put a bigger engine set in there. But to be honest, that's fine. What we're now going to do is coupling. I'm going to go with another TD25 there, because we're now going to put a descent stage under this, which is going to consist of that one. It's not that one. It's one of those. So this is going to be the core of the descent stage. I'm not putting the engine on it just yet. I've got, where are we? Payload. I've got one of those to go on. Now I'm going to put the engine on. And see, this gets a couple of choices. I can just stick a pair of those on it. That goes into that, and then I can say again, show all. I mean, that could actually lift off on. It could lift off on Kerbin. It could certainly do whatever. So the question there is vacuum thrust 1700. That can land on Mun as well. Ideally, so long as you don't burn too much fuel getting there, but it'll do it. We are going to put some struts. We're going to add a little bit to this. See, this is getting to the point of being a slightly more capable spacecraft designed to do slightly more capable things. That bit is not particularly aerodynamic, however. I don't have a bigger fairing to put on the top which can go around it all. Doesn't matter. Right, so we can open that. And now we have a payload bay. Now in this payload bay we can put, I only want one of them. We can put one of those. There we are. We now have a little science materials thing in there. I'm going to rotate it just because I want to be able to see the thing when it's in there. We need some electricity. So I'm going to put a pair of battery packs on the side of that. There you go. And we're going to come around here and we're going to go into the rest of the science, and I'm going to put a goo pod on one of those and on one of those. Now we got this thing. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be able to use that here, but we do have it. Yeah, what's also needed is legs, so I need to think about how to put landing legs on this thing. These landing struts, how do these fit? Like those, like that, you see. Only just. Now, yeah, so let's get out of that. Delete that. Take that engine off. What I need is some different engines. So I'm going to go to engines. And we've got, if I can get the thing to stay up, we've got these. Now I could give it a pair of those. The interesting bit now is, I mean, this... I almost need to do it this way around. I mean, that's doable. That's perfectly doable. Right. Then possibly a triplet. Let's get back to this way here. a triplet of those, which I suspect is going to have... Yeah, again, it can take off on... if it can take off on Kerbal, it can take off on Mun. I'm quite happy with that. What we're then going to do is say legs... we'll put the legs on the ship like that. That'll do. Boom, 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 boom. They will start retracted. And now we have... basically, I need to be able to get... Jeb, bless him, or whoever, needs to be able to get up to here to where all the sciencey stuff is. So what I'm going to do is... give him a ladder. That one's not long enough, so I'm going to get rid of that. There is this one, which is longer by quite a bit. If I extend the legs... yeah, that should work, and then Kerbal can get up here and do whatever it is a Kerbal wants to do in there. Getting up to the very top is going to be a case of flying again, but I'm not bothered by that. What I'm going to do is give them a ladder like that, because then a ladder like that they can grab hold of. It's just a bigger thing to grab hold of. So start retracted, that's got all the science and everything it needs. And this is going to be Mun Lander X2. So that now needs some electrical stuff, adding some lights and so on and so forth. Lights. So I want these. Again, I'm going to mount these. I'm going to mount them a bit higher up this time. I'm going to mount them on the bodywork still, but I'm going to mount them a little bit higher up. They'll shine down and they'll give a little bit more illumination around the ground. We are going to put wherever these little cargo pods are. I am going to put a triplet of those on board, like that. So that gives me a lot of space for putting cargo-y bits. So what we're going to do now is say, I'm going to put 3 solar panels in one of them. And close it. I'm going to put... so I want a base station and the goo monitor in that one. And with 3 solar panels, that should be enough to drive all of that. Shouldn't need to do anything else. Another cargo unit that's a bit smaller. Oh, I see. I see. That's basically one of these things that's round. You know what? Delete. Delete. Get rid of that. What I'm going to do is whack one of them on the bottom and check the legs. Extend the legs. See, they now need to come down a little bit. See, this is iterative design for you. That comes down there like that. That ladder now actually looks a little bit better anyway, so I can do that. Retract that. Yes. So, that's that. What I'm going to do now is open that up, and now I'm going to put, not the weather analyzer because there's absolutely no point, we're going to Minmus. I'll put one of those in there. I'm going to put the goo monitor in, and then I'm going to stick 3 of those in like that, and then we'll lob an EVA kit in as well, because we might as well. We're going to do some EVA science on the surface of Minmus, and that, people, is a lander. 22 tons. It's quite heavy, but should work. Right, crew, engineer, scientist, pilot. That will do. Don't need anything else. Obviously what I now need to do is build something that can get this into space. So let's do that. Coupling. Again, I want the 25, which is the big one. That's basically a descent stage. It's not designed to get me to Mun. So what I now need is a proper fuel tank. I'm going to lob one of those and one of them. It's alright, I've got a cat crawling around on the floor behind me, causing problems as they do. Oh, I need to put some solar panels on this as well, so I'll do that before we forget. I'll go with these ones here. I'm going to go with 4 because I think it'll look good. I'm going to put them there. And we may as well have an antenna on this thing. Now here we've got this folding one. And the reason for that is because that's obviously going to be sleek on the way up. Right, so what performance has that section got? 0.6. Yeah. If that'll do the Minmus insertion burn, hopefully a bit of a capture burn when it gets there, and sort of the final bit of we need to get into orbit. So we're then going to go with another 25 there, and now this is going to be the lower stage. This is where actually having the bigger rocket engine would possibly come in handy. Bobcat. What's the thrust of that thing? Yeah, the skipper's better. So we'll whack one of those on the bottom. That's going to go into there. Right, what's the performance of that? See, that won't get off the ground. But we already know the solution to that one, which is to whack. Let's try 4 to start with. And I'm going to put some boosters on the side, which is going to be those, like that. This time I'm going to use liquid boosters. Basically, I just think they're better. So here we can have that. We've got a quartet of swivels on the bottom. This is all going to fire up at the same time. So what's the performance like now? Show all. 1.45 off the pad, which is plenty. The first stage is not far off 2,000 meters per second. A little bit more would be better. Doesn't need to be a lot more. A little bit more would be better. So what I'm going to do is that, and then see what we get. So acceleration off the pad's not brilliant, but we have a little bit more performance. So I think the solution to this is fairly straightforward. We'll stick more of them on. Is how to deal with that, I feel. And they can go like that, and then we'll see what the performance is. Should be quite good at this point. Show all. So we're back up to 1.5. And we've got plenty of performance. So that'll do. That. Give them nose cones. Fairly obviously these now need struts as well. Because we always need struts. Struts are magic. Yeah, so that to that to that to that. And then the obligatory launch clamps, which go in the first stage. Right, save that. Let's just zoom out a little and look at this masterpiece. Well, it'll either work or it won't. I mean, this is the main thing. Right, now there is something I can do in here. Action groups. I don't have. I don't have the custom group actions yet. So if I go into that, So I've got that there, toggle lights, toggle lights. What I'm looking at is, do I put the solar panels? Toggle solar panel in there as well. So if I turn the lights on, the panel should extend. Turn the lights off, the panel should retract. Save that. Let's go and fly a rocket. This could go wrong. You've seen me flying rockets before. This could go wrong. We are at least in daylight, which is the main thing. So that. We go up to full throttle. We have the crew of 3. We don't have a launch escape system. So, yeah. There we go. I think it looks alright. It's flying a bit like a brick currently, but I think it looks alright. Away we go, away we go. The top bit is moderately aerodynamic. I wouldn't say it's brilliant, but it's got a little bit to it. Don't want to tip over too fast. On the plus side, we're not really struggling with the we're going too fast in the lower atmosphere issue. Yeah, we'll see how well this one goes. I mean, it's flying. It's starting to accelerate a little bit more now. Bill especially doesn't look massively happy. You can actually, I mean, the little expressions, I mean, we joke about it, the expression on their faces are actually quite useful. Especially Jeb. If Jeb starts to look unhappy, you have a problem. is the way that works. You don't want Jeb to be unhappy. Now, as always with the first flight, I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to go. But I will see you in orbit, I hope. Okay, we've made it to orbit. You may notice this boost stage that is supposed to get us to Minmus is virtually dry. Yeah. Okay, so this thing's performance is not what it needs to be. That said, I think we're still in with a chance. So what I'm going to do is have a little look. And we're going to see whether this works or not. It might do. That's Mun. I don't want Mun. Minmus, which is up here. Somewhere. There we are. Well, go as Minmus encounter. Yeah, this isn't... It's not going to be able to land. It'll be able to orbit. It's not going to be able to land. Basically, I'm going to be using nearly all of that boost stage fuel to get there. So what I'm actually going to do... there's a little bit of science here I've not done in Minmus orbit. So I'm going to go and do that, I think. And... yeah. So we're just about there. Out of the map mode. And full throttle. So yeah, we're going. Basically, what I'm going to do is get So I'm gonna go grab what science I can. I know what I need. What I ideally need now is the next engine up. This is a heavier craft. I need a bigger engine on the first stage. I know the one I want. It's called the mainsail, and then the skipper engine will go on the second stage, and that'll do that. Now I am going to try a little bit of trickery, however. And the trickery I'm going to try involves transferring fuel from the upper stage into the lower stage. Because that should work. Right, and what I'm also going to do is lights, which as expected toggles the solar panels, which come on quite nicely. Right. I'm then going to toggle legs because I can. Now there's going to be a little bit of a gamble here. I'm going to assume this could potentially be a problem here. I'm going to assume that about 1,000 meters per second in this upper stage is enough. So what I need to do is, how do I enable crossfeed? There we are. Okay, so we've enabled crossfeed. There we are. I was trying to remember how on earth to do it. Out there, down to that, out there, like that. So the upper stage is still showing it's got a lot of capability, which somehow I'm not sure I believe. In fact, I don't believe, but there we go. So we shall see. Anyway, dump. What we're going to do now is warp all the way out here and see where we go. Oh, yeah, where's that antenna? I'll deploy that while we're here. Status retracted, extend. So you see that now is going to take us home. That's lower stage fuel, that's upper stage fuel. Yeah, you see that's now giving me a little bit more confidence there. So upper stage fuel, I'm going to continue out like that, like that. Map. Yeah, that's now saying I've got 900 and that's saying I've got 1300. That's slightly more believable. Right, so what we're going to do is now go there, warp there. I'm going to go that, and here we are around Minmus. So what I now need to do is a braking maneuver. It's not particularly hard to do. So, like that. And I know exactly what's going on here. Because I've got crossfeed on, we're actually drawing from this upper tank, which I don't particularly want to do anymore. So, disable crossfeed. Otherwise, I'll find the upper tank is empty when I get there. Right. And what we'll do is we'll land, and then we can transfer whatever fuel is left after landing back, if that makes sense. So actually, enable crossfeed, and these engines can draw from both tanks. So we'll do that. It's not ideal, but it's what we're going to do. Right, so I want to go carry on with this. To lower that periapsis to about there. Warp there. Get us nice and close again. And again, this should see us do fine with batteries. Wait for that to spin round where it needs to. Here we go. And we're going to work out where to land. Yeah, we should be drawing fuel from both of these sets of tanks at this point. 50 odd, yeah, we're on a bit of an inclined orbit. Bit of an inclined orbit I don't really care about. Right, where I want to land are these funny coloured bits. These are Minmus's oceans. Well, they're not really oceans, they're like ice, but that's where I want to land. So I'm going to make sure we go over that one. And then I can do the descent burn and stuff when we're there. So we're now going to go to there. Like so. Where's Minmus? Oh look, Minmus. Hello Minmus. We gets us down to a fairly low level. I'm going to go that back in radar mode. My landing gear is deployed. Again, I want to rotate a little bit just in case. Now, we've not actually done science near Minmus yet. So what I'm going to do is a crew report from space near Minmus. And we have a scientist on board. And because we have a scientist on board, I can do all the experiments. And then when we land, he can get out, reset it all. I can do them all again. Which is brilliant, I think. Take that, log temperature. See, so we've got all that science. We're not doing the EVA science because that'd be silly. And here we are. Now you notice here the orbital, the surface velocity is a lot lower than it would be. I mean, to orbit, it's still not much. Minmus's gravity is a lot lower. I mean, for example, I can kill velocity quite quickly here. And what I need to do is just want to make sure we're heading to the appropriate area, you see. Oh, minty moon, minty moon, minty moon. This is actually a little bit harder to land on in some respects. Purely because the gravity is so much lower. See our little shadow down there. So we are slowly descending. It can take a little while. So, especially now Time Warp is disabled. I will see you on the surface. And here we are on the surface of Minmus. So, should have on here, land on Minmus. See, we've done it. Right, so there's a few other bits and pieces I need to do here. I need to go here with Bob, who is going to be my little friend here. Take data. We'll take the data because that's useful, because he can obviously do that quite nicely. And they're going to come all the way down here like this. And then he's going to let go. Like that. He's going to fall down there like that. Crunch. Right, what I'm going to do here is go extend that ladder. Because he's going to go and collect all that lovely science in a minute. But before he does, he's going to come over here. He is going to go plant flag. Gathers us a huge amount of money. That'll do. going to take a surface sample, which is huge. He's going to do an EVA report, which is good. Now the problem with moving on Minmus is the gravity is so low, you have to be very careful with it. A little bit of a pain, but there we go. He's going to go hold of that. He's going to grab that ladder. Climb up here like this. So I can go there. Take data. Log pressure data. Grab that. Take it. And we're going to grab that. Collect the data from the goo. Remove the data. He's going to restore it. And he's then going to have another look at it. Collect data, and that'll do. I don't know if he's near enough. Don't know if he's near enough to that. Take the data from the thermometer, log the temperature, and then take it. Science Junior. Oh, even better. Collect the data. There's a huge amounts here, so restore that. Conduct the material study. We're going to grab all of that, you see? And then we're going to go in there, collect data. And that's the benefit of bringing a scientist. So he'll let go of that. Whee! Yeah, anyway. He'll walk home. Kadunk. Kadunk. He'll be alright. Don't worry about him. Bob's good. He's a professional. He's used to this sort of stuff. Right. So now what we've got to go and do is set up that surface experiment thing. We shall then pose for a photograph, and then we shall do a little bit of fuel transfer and go home. Because this ground stage, in fact, actually, can I do that now? No, I'm going to be back on board the craft to do that. That's fine. I can cope with that. Right. So, little matey boy here needs that open. I need that open because we're going to put that away. Put that away. Going to grab hold of that because that's useful. So I can come here, perform EVA science. So we'll see what we get with that. Whee, golf! And looking at it, it's good they didn't actually cheese that completely. It would have been extremely easy for that to be something you could just do everywhere, and to be honest, that would start to get a little bit silly if you could do that at every single location. So he's going to come over here like this, and we're going to pull that down. And gets back to the cargo unit. His can go over here like so. Grab hold of that. Face this way here, and place that. Luckily you don't have to work too hard to connect these things. So again, he will then grab a solar array. And I think it's got an antenna. I think that other antenna thing is something you use if you want to go further afield and you need a bigger antenna for some reason. So he will then here like this and place that. Right, how's this working? Yeah, power needed 2, power available 2, so that now works. While we're at it, I'm actually going to put the other one of these down. It's possible, it's unlikely, but it's possible we may come back at some point. And if we come back, we might actually want to... Oh, actually, I do need to... he can have his rocket pack back, because if he doesn't get his rocket pack back, he's not getting back in the ship. Which sort of matters a little bit. So there we are. Face me, you little... Yep, do that. Grab another picture like that, because I can. Now he'll now have the experience of planting a flag on Minmus. The others won't. So I might get them out to do it. Jeb especially, because having pilots with that sort of experience is actually quite useful. And we need to go around the other way because that's where the cockpit is. See, it's up there. My own fault. And again, rocket packing on Minmus is interesting. Again, because the gravity is so low. So rocket pack on. Fly up a little bit. Go a bit closer. A bit closer still. Yeah. Okay. Wasn't actually aiming for that bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Turn his rocket back off. Okay. He wasn't supposed to get in there. And now he's in there, I'm not sure how to get him out. Okay, right. Yeah, we'll do that. Do that. Do that. Right, there we are, back on the lander, so... Can I get him out? Come on, out you come. You've got to be able to... I mean, you got in there, surely you can get out. Okay, jetpack on. Up and then forwards. Up and then this way. Okay, that's... No. Tab that. I want to go to the ship. Stability control on. Come on, right, turn stability off. Oh, not Bob, I want, it's the ship I'm after. She's that. I should be able to get, with a bit of luck, to stand back up again. Come on, up you. I don't have to use the engines for this, you see. I'm not quite sure what on earth is going on here and why this isn't... Right there. Landing leg stress, landing leg... I can't... Okay, RCS. Come on, fire it to get you. Right. I have a horrible feeling Bob may be staying here at this rate. Right, anyway, let me just do this and this and change the centre of gravity of the ship completely. And hopefully that'll help a little bit. Nope. We're... Just... Okay, right. Well, anyway, I might be able to get him out now. With a bit of luck. Whee! There he is, he's out. Right. Back to the ship. And... Right, that's that way. Try and get it to go back upright. Come on, back upright. You can do it. Right. Track ladder. Let's try landing gear back, see if that helps. Come on, this way. RCS, see if that helps. Come on, back. Oh, what on earth is going on with this thing? Right. That way. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. And then RCS off, stability on, extend the legs. Try again. Right. And then refill the upper tank. Because it's delta V in the upper tank that matters at this point. Right. So that tank is now reasonably full. Yeah, and the display gauges aren't showing me anything particularly interesting. So, we are now going to try and get Matey Boy here back in again. Which fuel has he got left? Yeah, he's got loads of LCS fuel left. Right, where's the ship's... Ship's entrance is that way. Yeah, that sort of bouncing and I'm going to fall over is a bit of a problem. This lander's not probably very stable. I suspect that's more of the problem. Right, so what I need to do though is this time fly up a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is look at him that way. Jetpack on. Up we go, up we go, up we go, up we go. Forwards to be well and truly above that. Right. Right, there we go. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, anyway, so. Right. That thing's tanks are empty. That thing's tanks are reasonably full. So, if I now, for example, throttle up, how the hell are we taking off? Okay, whatever. Right. Oh yeah, because we've got crossfeed on. That's how. Right. That stage drop. That's why that's showing like that. Right. Ah, dear. Life of a spaceman, who would have it? Right. That's going to crash in a minute. That's fine. We're heading back to orbit. So the mission I thought wasn't going to work, actually. It's actually not doing too badly. we'll go warp there, and then we shall go like that. That, yeah, that other bit has crashed, and then we've got the little ground base, so to speak, where the sensors and that are. So this will get us into a safe stable orbit. And from there we can work out how the hell we get home. Right. There's been a bit of comedy of errors, this one, hasn't it? I can hear the voices of people saying now, this one? And yes, don't really want that. Right. So, yeah, plenty of performance over what I thought I might need. So that works. That's telling me I'm just about in the position to do it. So I'll kill the node. I'll just burn at the moment. So that closes down like that. So, perhaps it's there. And I'm going to set this back to about 30 as usual. So I just need to rotate this so I can see the numbers clearly. And at some point I need to find a way of stopping Kerbals getting caught between the launcher and whatever. I rather suspect this won't do for Mun without modification. I mean the lander design I think will work, although fairly obviously it could do with slightly better legs to stop it from falling over like that. A little bit more. That'll do. 30. Right. Let's go there. Warp here. And it says landers. I mean, I think it looks quite good as a spaceship. It looks like a proper spaceship. Hey, look, Kerbin and Mun. Whee! Look at that. Kerbin and Mun, and we're in space. Right. That was just so I could see what I was doing. So I'm now going to go warp there. Whee! Ooh! Now look at that. See, that's telling us the thing on Minmus has beamed some science back. And the best bit is, it'll continue to do that. We'll go there as well. Yeah, it will continue to do that. Which is all well and good. And in fact, actually rather good. And every now and again, we'll just get, oh, there's a bit more science come back. And we don't pay anything extra for it. And that is nice. Not particularly cheesy, it's just nice. Right, let's go warp there. Just take us in a little bit more. And we will ditch the command module in a bit, so I'll get ready to do that. And unlike last time, I'm going to fling it off properly. That's obviously a Russian fling it off. So, yeah. They're well known for their space program and other things. Nice planet, that's mine, sort of thing. Yeah, won't go into that. And right, here we go. So we go like that, like that. That should get rid of that well and truly and avoid the problem we had last time of it deciding it was going to go for a near miss. But we might be able to see it explode, and that's always fun. So yeah, you can see the solar panels over there warming up a little bit. Getting nice and warm. That'll explode shortly, or the panels will blow off it or something like that. See, we're getting heat stress, but that's fine. Yeah, I was hoping to catch that thing exploding. Panels have gone. Yeah, it's too far away to catch a proper explosion. Never mind. Right, I will catch you on the ground. Whee! Ground. Right, recover. I think we're actually... We managed to land there fairly close to the space centre. Not that it matters. So there we go, you see. We have earned 520 science from that flight. Which is obviously a fair bit. So we're going to just grab... Clean up after ourselves. That'll go. We're going to have a quick look at what we can get with that. The first thing is going to be this, which is the engine I want, which is the mainsail, so I'm definitely having that. We can have a few more. Precision propulsion, really good for satellites. Advanced fuel systems is some more fuel tanks, which are actually quite useful, and we are going to have those. And then we can have one more. We can't have another of these. We just spent a little bit too much for that. Advanced landing is a much bigger heat shield. Better landing legs is the other one there. The heavy landing is something else. Field science is quite useful. I'm going to go with that one because it gives us the bigger docking pod. Right. A quick little look at missions. Another explore Minmus, rendezvous and dock around Minmus. We probably... And we're going to do it at some point anyway, maybe. The point is I don't need... It's not something I need to do, but it's something we'll take. Well, I think what I'm going to do is put a space station in orbit around Minmus and put some other bits and pieces there. Don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about that. Putting a satellite round there. We could, because we could turn that into a docking target. Do you know what? I think we've actually set the systems up to do that one. Yeah. Yeah, so that can become a docking target. So yeah, we'll have that. Why not? See, these satellites in polar orbits I'm just not interested in now. Tourists... I mean, that's so little money, it's just not worth it. Active with that. Yeah. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much for watching if you've stuck with it this far. If you haven't, thank you very much for watching, even though you left earlier and you can't hear me now. But never mind. I will catch you all in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you very much, and goodbye.